MBA in operations or supply chain management करने का सोच रहे हो, then पहले ये वीडियो देख लेना so that you understand what exactly you are getting into and whether it is suited for your skill set or not. काफी lucrative field है, but remember it's not suited for everyone. So इस वीडियो में हम cover करेंगे what exactly is MBA in operations management, the type of firms and the kind of roles that you can get into after this kind of a specialization, what is the salary that we used to get at IIM Ahmedabad for such kind of roles. Also, I'll try to cover the tier 2 and 3 institutions. We will discuss about the top colleges in India to pursue this kind of a specialization, and finally the skill sets that you need to get into this field. So what exactly is MBA in operations management? इसको समझने के लिए आप किसी भी बिजनेस के 4 एस्पेक्ट्स को समझो. फर्स्ट, प्रोडक्शन एस्पेक्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. कोई भी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट हो तो उसके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड एनी प्रोडक्शन ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज बाय अ कंपनी, दैट इज कमिंग अंडर MBA in operations management. वो कंट्रोल करता है MBA in operations management. उसके बाद सप्लाई चेन मैनेजमेंट, दैट इज एंटायर सोर्सिंग ऑफ गुड्स से लेके whatever is the storage, manufacturing हुआ, उसके बाद the further distribution of goods to the market. Everything is an entire supply chain management process. Then there's a logistics as well, movement of goods from here to there. That is logistics aspect of it. So वो भी important होता है. And finally the process and quality control. Every particular company, every particular business runs a specific set of processes. कोई भी company हो. For example, suppose you are in an airport, you have to go from one place to the other. If you think about it, there's a checkpoint at the entry, then you have to do the entire boarding process and then the security check. So there's an entire process that happens one after the other. So that's a complete process. Where do you place how many resources? That's the work of people who have done MBA in operation. That's what you call operations management. Process and quality control, remember. Not only that how the process will run, but it should run in a quality manner. If there's a manufacturing line, what is the quality of goods that is being produced? That comes under quality management as self. And आपने सुना होगा six sigma certifications and everything. That exactly is quality control, and all of those aspects come under MBA in operations management. And these things will become more clear when I tell you about the different types of firms and the kind of roles that you can get into, because then you will be able to relate to it, where exactly the production, supply chain and this process quality control fits in. So starting with the first type of firm, and that is your FMCG. So यहाँ पर typical company के examples होते हैं HUL, ITC, PNG. These kind of firms hire from MBA in operations management, if you are pursued MBA in operations management, to offer different kind of roles. First of all, obviously supply chain managers, logistics managers बहुत important होते हैं इनके लिए, because they are producing different kind of goods, so they need to source raw materials. So आप source करोगे वो उन raw materials को, and there's a lot of aspects, lot of algorithm that goes into sourcing various aspects. For example, आप अगर ketchup भी produce कर रहे हैं एक particular company, then there's a sourcing of, you have to do sourcing of raw materials, and there's a great algorithm because the prices of your raw materials will fluctuate. So when to buy, how much to buy, there are models built around this, which you have to predict, which you have to understand, and you have to set the right pricing strategy, you have to set the right negotiation strategy, and you need to make sure that you benefit the company in the best possible way in terms of the bottom line that you have, in terms of the profitability. You get the best out of it because the prices will fluctuate. You need to set your algorithms correctly, you need to set your negotiation strategies correctly, which vendor to buy, from where to buy, and when to buy. All of these are very important decisions. And at the same time, the logistics of these goods, that is, these raw materials have to come to the factory, and once the finished goods are produced, then those finished goods have to go to the market as well. So logistics here also becomes important. All of these aspects will be taken care of again by MBA in operations management, as I was telling you about. The entire supply chain managers, logistics managers, so they do hire these supply chain managers extensively. जब भी आप किसी FMCG companies के बारे में बात करते हो, people usually think about marketing, MBA in marketing. Yes, marketing is an important aspect of it. Brand marketers, yes, they go from MBA in marketing, but behind the scenes there is this supply chain aspect. A lot of supply chain managers are hired by these FMCG firms to run their operations. Next, we come to the e-commerce firms. So e-commerce companies, for example, Amazon, Flipkart, and then the quick commerce ones as well, Zepto, Blinkit, Zomato, and everyone. So all of them also do hire MBA grads. In fact, most of these other companies as well, for example, Reliance has started Ajio, and then Tata has this Tata Click. All of them have have their e-commerce arms as well. All of these e-commerce companies also need people who have done MBA in operations management, because of the same reason. They have extensive logistical networks, they need extensive logistics, they need to understand where the demand will come, and based on that demand, how they will meet the demand of sending these goods to particular destinations, how many goods they need to get from the sellers, how many goods they need to store in the warehouse. In fact, the warehouse management is in itself a job. A lot of people are hired to manage the warehouse operations in Amazon, because there are so many goods. So which goods to take in what quantity? Because if you store less number of goods, it's a problem for the company, because you will stock out and then you will not be able to meet the demand. And if you stock a lot of goods, then also it's a problem, because then you will be wasting your cost, because there's a storage cost, the entire rent and everything, there's a cost associated with storing the goods. So if you store many goods, it can go as a wastage as well, and at the same time there is a storage cost associated with every good. So that's why you have to maintain an optimum balance, and for that as well you have to run your algorithms, demand prediction models and everything. So there also you need great people who have done this kind of work and have this kind of an experience. So all of these e-commerce firms and everyone, for warehouse management as well as for logistics and supply chain, they need these people. After this, we have another kind of firms that are core manufacturing. For example, if you see Tata Steel, Tata Motors, Mahindra, the entire automobile setup that they have, even say Reliance Petrochemicals, or say government bodies as well, like ONGC, all of them have their production, manufacturing facilities and everything. They also need these kind of production managers, production facility managers, because again, this the work will be kind of same, estimating the kind of demand that they will get from the market, setting up the production lines, ensuring the quality of the goods that they produce. All of these will be taken care of again by the production managers. And literally any business that you see, they follow a certain set of processes, and that is why they need these process managers. For example, I gave you the airport example, they also follow a certain set of processes, and that is why MBA in operation, after MBA in operation, you literally become eligible and applicable for every business. Unlike say for example, FMCG firm, you think about marketing, the MBA in marketing guys will be going there getting a lot of salary. And suppose e-commerce, again you think about the product managers for e-commerce companies, for example Amazon, Flipkart. You think about the interaction with the user, the applications and everything, that's why product managers are very important there. And then you think about these manufacturing units, Tata Motors, you think about the engineering talent that they need. However, you need to understand there's someone working silently behind all of these companies, and that is how important MBA in operation becomes. That makes you eligible and applicable for a lot more companies than many other specializations. And we will also come to the salary that you can expect in these firms or these kind of roles as well. But before that, let me tell you, if you want to pursue your MBA in operations management, or any field for that matter, especially if you want to pursue online MBA, do not, if you're already working, you do not want to leave your job and pursue a different specialization and then get into these fields, pursue an online MBA, then obviously you need to be very careful about the kind of university that you are getting into, because especially in online MBA, you need to make sure that the institution is government approved, and that is where the partners of this video will come in very handy, and that is College Vidya. So you can go to the website and let AI find the best universities for you. So you can select the course you want to pursue, fill in a few details, and let AI match you with the top government approved online universities. After that, you can talk directly to university officials, get free career counseling from College Vidya experts, or connect with alumni as well for real insights. And you can also compare universities across 30 plus factors, including fees, approvals, placement, ratings, and even EMI options. So आपको 100% authentic university connections मिल जाएगा, free career booster programs मिल जाएगा worth 6,999, up to 10,000 rupees CV subsidy मिल जाएगा on admission, and exclusive jobs and internship portal का access भी मिल जाएगा from day one. And College Vidya was also featured in Jio Hotstar's Brands of Tomorrow season 3 for their contribution to online education in India. So if you want to explore the website, the link is there in the description as well as in the pinned comment. You can check it out from there. Now coming to the salary that you can expect, starting with the FMCG firms. So they also hire, as I said, supply chain managers, and for them you can expect a salary which is very similar to the marketing folks that they get in these kind of firms. That is 25, 30 to 35 lakhs. So 25 to 35 lakh is a typical salary range from tier 1 colleges that they offer. If you talk about the big firm, that is HUL, PNG and everyone, they offer upwards of 30 lakh only. Some of the other firms, maybe say Asian Paints, and they also offer around the range of 26, 27, Reckitt Benckiser and everyone also offer in the range of 26, 27 lakh itself. So and it might have increased as well. This is a few years back what I am talking about. This might have increased only, this would not have reduced. So from tier 1 MBA colleges you can expect this kind of a salary, and most of it is in the kind of fixed component only. You can expect 80% of this will be fixed component, other 20% will be in the form of say joining bonus or variable bonus. And if you are say from a tier 2 or a tier 3 institution, then if the same company is going to a tier 2 tier 3 institution to hire for the same kind of role, then the salary will be kind of similar. However, the thing is that these top firms hire a lot of people from IIMs but hire less number of people, very few people from tier 2 and tier 3 institutions. And the kind of there are other FMCG firms obviously that hire from tier 2 tier 3 institution, but the salary range can be different. 14 15 lakh they offer to a lot of tier 2 institutions, then 10 to 11 lakh I have seen 8 lakh as well being offered by certain FMCG companies to certain tier 3 institutions. So you can expect that kind of range. 14 15 lakh is also another range. After that 10 12 lakh is another range that is being offered for these kind of roles for supply chain managers in India. Then we come to the e-commerce companies, Amazon, Flipkart. Typically if we take the example, then their CTC goes very high. It's upward of 45 lakh. I think now it has touched almost 50 lakh, but that's the CTC. Remember, that is the important aspect that you have to understand for especially the e-commerce companies, the new age companies especially, because they offer ESOPs. What are ESOPs? They are basically stock options. So all the employees suppose get certain stock options, for example 20 30 lakh stock options that they can vest in the next 4 years. So every year, for example, they will get certain shares, and once you sell that share in the market, you can get that money, or you can hold that share as well. Like for the long term, you can hold that share. As the value increases, your value will also increase. So those are kind of stock options that you get, and out of this 50 lakh, I think 20 25 lakh kind of comes in the form of stock options. Rest 20 25 lakh is in the form of your salary. So you will get a typical kind of a starting salary like 22 23 lakh fixed salary. After that there will be some joining bonus, variable bonus, and everything. It might take you upwards of 25 lakh, and then there will obviously be a lot of stock component as well, 25 30 lakh stock components which will be vested in the next 4 years. So a lot of these e-commerce companies have this kind of a salary structure. But yes, your CTC will go upwards of 45 lakh in these companies as an operations manager. And because these companies have very different kind of roles as well. Operations manager, there is one person who is managing the entire warehouse, making those complex calculations and everything, predicting demand, forecasting models and everything. And at the same time, they also have people who are just managing certain small processes within a warehouse. So for them also the salary can be very different. Usually these kind of roles happen through tier 2 tier 3 institutions, not even tier 2, I guess tier 3 institutions. The kind of salary that you can expect from here would be in the range of 10 to 15 lakh. The kind of work that you get is very different. You will be responsible for managing a small set of processes within the warehouse. 10 to 15 lakh is kind of salary you can expect. No ESOP here. It's more around the your fixed salary as well as your joining bonus or the variable bonus. So 10 to 15 lakh. However, the important aspect is the growth can be pretty fast. If you manage certain set of processes, then you can go to that level and your salary might be become very fast, similar to someone who is from a tier 1 institution, because you're managing those set of processes. If you're doing it really good, you will be given more responsibilities, and you're working with the same kind of people. You're working with those people who are from tier 1 institutions in the same warehouse. So the growth can be really fast, and you can reach that level of 35 40 lakh salary pretty fast in the same role. Then coming to core manufacturing, suppose Tata or any manufacturing plant that you have, here it's more in the terms of fixed salary itself, and the kind of range that they offer is 20 to 25 lakh. Here the thing is that most of the models and everything are already built. Obviously you need to use your brain and everything, but most of these traditional and the legacy manufacturing firms, the kind of work that you have is 20 to 25 lakh salary that you start at. And that also comes from a lot of leadership programs that you get into these top firms like Tata Group or Reliance Group, the kind of leadership programs that they have. So you enter these kind of core manufacturing firms through those leadership programs only. Usually a lot of people do not prefer to get into core manufacturing because first, initial salary is a little bit low compared to say what an e-commerce company or a supply chain manager can get. And at the same time, the kind of learning that you will have, they are also thinking about the kind of learning that they will have, because a lot of models and everything are already built. And yes, the kind of the entire show is run by an engineer on the particular plant. So that's why a lot of people prefer not to get into these kind of firms, and that's why a lot of tier 1 institution students, they do not go to core manufacturing, but 20 lakh, 25 lakh is what they can offer. 15 to 20 lakh is also what they offer to tier 2, tier 3 institutions. So if you are from someone, say tier 2, tier 3 institution, especially if you can get into, say, government organizations, say ONGC, I don't know if they still hire from MBA institutions directly or not, but the idea is that you can expect a good salary, maybe more than what an e-commerce firm will give you to handle a small process. Here the kind of role that you will get is kind of similar to what a tier 1 institution candidate will get. That's why salary also will be kind of similar. So that's why it's a very good option for someone who is from a, say, tier 2 or a tier 3 institution. Next, operations heavy. Here the kind of company that you can get into can be very different. If you're getting into kind of a startup, say an Ola or an Uber, the kind of salaries we used to get was again upwards of 30 lakh, but there used to be an ESOP component as well. But then again, there used to be some operations heavy company like traditional legacy companies, Reliance and those Mahindra and everyone as well. Here again, the salary used to be around in the range of 25 lakh, but yes, the work used to be interesting as well, and at the same time it used to be more in the form of fixed component. So that's why the range can be very, very huge. So that's why I cannot say much about this operations heavy company. It can be the typical kind of company that you're getting into can be very different. That's why it might be very difficult to pinpoint the exact salary that you can get in these roles. Next, coming to the top colleges for this particular specialization, and the first one is undoubtedly IIM Mumbai. Formerly it was known as NITI. It used to be a very, very operations focused college. Now the scope has kind of increased, but obviously because it has carried the legacy so far, then they have great recruiters who come for hiring for the operations management role. So IIM Mumbai is definitely one of the best colleges. I would say definitely the best college for operations specialization. If you are very hell-bent on only doing operations management, supply chain management, NITI, or sorry, the IIM Mumbai is actually one of the best college. After that, we have the IIT Bombay as well. That is Shailesh J Mehta, as we call it, Shailesh J Mehta School of Business. That's also a great college for this particular specialization. After, in fact, all the IITs are great. After IIT Bombay, you have IIT Delhi, then you have IIT Kharagpur, and then you have the other IITs as well. So IIT Bombay first, IIT Delhi next, IIT Kharagpur next, and after that, all the different IITs that you have. All of these are very good for operations management. And at the same time, there are some other colleges like SPJIMR as well. There's a specific specialization, supply chain specialization within SPJIMR, because this, if you know that SPJIMR starts offering those splits the students into different specialization from the first year itself. That's why the specialization offered by SPJIMR in operations, that is also really, really good. And apart from these, any top college that you enter, IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, all of these also offer these operations role. The reason that we don't talk about these colleges is because a lot of students who get into these institutions then start focusing on very different kind of roles, finance, consulting, and all. You will see more takers there, and in operations role you will see around, say, 20, 25 people getting into, or maybe less than that itself, and that too people who might have had interest in other field but then just ended up in operations at the last moment. So that's why the kind of demand supply match that you have kind of still happens, because if you are interested in operations, you will still have companies visiting the campus. You can still get into those roles. But yes, a lot of students change their mind once they go to the campus and they get hired by marketing or this consulting finance firms rather than operations. And that's why you don't see a lot of people getting into that. But definitely a lot of these subjects are covered in any top institution, and you will have recruiters in those top colleges as well. I would suggest you, if you get these top colleges, definitely get into that. You will be able to get into these operations role from any top college. And if you are thinking about MBA in operations, if you get a less percentile, then how to proceed, then you can go to any lower ranked IITs. I think that will be your best option. Suppose you cannot get above 95, 96 percentile, you are getting less than that, then maybe other lower ranked IITs that you can get into, that will offer you good specialization, because whichever is engineering heavy, right, so they will offer good MBA in operations specialization, because the professors and everyone would have that kind of a skill set. So that is why it becomes important. At the same time, there might be specific colleges which are offering very, very specific specialization on MBA in operations management. So then you can get into those kind of colleges rather than going into any say tier 3 institution which offers a generic MBA. Rather go into a specialized college which offers MBA in operations specialization itself. Then coming to the skill set that you need and whether this particular role is suited for your profile. See, there's a reason why more and more engineers get into operations management. You need to understand this. You need to have a lot of knowledge over quant, statistics, and everything. Numbers will not leave you in this role itself. You need to build a lot of predictive models. You need to be very good at statistics and everything. In fact, if you go to any MBA college and once you start learning these subjects, you will understand how important is statistics, especially for operations management. It's literally quants. You need to be very good with numbers. If you're not good with numbers, if you did not like quant section in the CAT paper, probably you will face a lot of difficulty in operations. That's why there's a reason that engineers do it, because they have more love for quant, they have more love for numbers, they love statistics, and that is why they get into this kind of a role. And second, if you are someone who likes to think very creatively, out of the box solutions and everything, maybe marketing and those kind of roles are more suited for your profile. Operations, you need to follow a rigid set of processes. You need to follow certain written documentations. You need to follow certain guidelines, and for that you cannot go out of the box every time. And that is why it's very important, if you have those creative brains and everything, maybe get into a role like MBA in marketing and everything. Rather, MBA in operations is more suited for people who are more rigid, who like to think within the box. Not exactly within the box, I would say, but rather think more rationally and more in terms of numbers rather than in terms of creativity. So I hope I was able to explain you everything about MBA in operations. If you want to know about any specific specialization, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to make a video on that one as well, or maybe I would have already made a video on that particular subject. That's it for this particular video. See you in the next one.